The Ravens quarterback sent this tweet in response to an Adam Schefter report that Jackson turned down $200 million offer from Baltimore last fall. Jackson's status remains in limbo right now, but count Mike Felger among those hoping and maybe thinking the Patriots could get involved.
Until Lamar Jackson to the Patriots gets killed, I trust what I heard, and I trust that Belichick is saying these things. I trust that. Now, whether he ever gets to do it or not is a whole different matter. And whether he's saying it seriously or he's just kind of pissed off and talking, I don't know that. But I do believe the things that I've heard, that Bill is fed up with Mac Jones and would love Lamar Jackson.
Do you believe what Felger hears, that Bill Belichick is fed up with Mac Jones and he would love Andy Hart, Lamar Jackson?
I'm sure he would love Lamar Jackson. I think, remember that interaction with the media where he brought up Lamar's contract and he's answered all the questions? His contract's going to show you how much he's like that. Like, I think that was genuine Bill. I don't think that was just fluffing up the opponent. And I think he would obviously love to have a dynamic, game-changing playmaker. Is it realistic? And does that mean he hates Mac? I mean, he can go get him if he wants to get him, can he? Right?
Sure.
He's available. So if he loves him, the way Felger thinks he loves him, why isn't the offer sheet being signed as we speak?
What I find interesting about that, real quick, Phil, is this really leverages, and I'm not saying that Bill is leaking this to somebody who's leaking it to Mike Felger and saying, get this out there, but it really paints Robert Kraft into a difficult corner in that if the Patriots don't do it and it becomes common belief, not knowledge, but belief, and that sometimes happens from 2 to 6 there. They say it enough, and it becomes a known quantity. If it becomes believed that Bill Belichick wanted to get Lamar Jackson, there had to be somebody to veto it. Well, why would it be vetoed? Well, Robert Kraft would say, well, we still don't know what we have in this guy, and we're paying him $2 million a year, and we want to give up 2 first-round picks, Bill? No. It's at least out there that, hey, Bill wanted to make the team better, but he couldn't do it. So I'm not saying any of that's possible, but this whole conversation, certainly if Bill wants that to happen or it's being intimated, puts Robert in the light of saying, not doing that.
Yeah, and I would love to know how ownership would feel about that kind of conversation. Because on the one hand, I think with Lamar Jackson in-house, you immediately become a playoff-ish kind of team, right?
Absolutely.
Almost on its own.
But are you not that now? Are you not that with Mac Jones? Definitely not.
No, I don't think you know
you guys around.
And I think
right?
that's what Robert Kraft would say, Tom. He would point to what you just said. Pay him $2 million. This is the competitive advantage in the sport, is having a quarterback who can play that's not making any money. Can we not just try to make this thing work in a competent, functional sort of situation for a year? Do we have to go out and give somebody $200 million fully guaranteed for us to get back to this place? Let's see if we can make this work with what we have. That's where I think ownership would lean.
Is it at all possible, going a little off script here, but I was just thinking about this. So Lamar Jackson is signed to the franchise tag, right?
Yes.
In Baltimore. So he
hasn't signed it.
He doesn't need, let's say he signs it because he can't get an offer somewhere else. He becomes then a free agent after next season. So if it doesn't work with Mac Jones, couldn't the Patriots circle back to that?
That's a very good point.
I mean, they could franchise him again.
Go ahead.
They could franchise him again. You can go down that road multiple times, as you know, Kirk Cousins and other guys have done. Walter Jones, different high-end
But he would have
players.
the option to go then shop himself again. And if Bill Belichick really is interested in him, and after a year with Mac Jones, he says, "Look, I put pieces around him, although we haven't seen those pieces yet. We didn't get out of him what we wanted. Now can I go after Lamar Jackson?"
But doesn't this work for the owner and the coach? The coach needs a better quarterback in this theory. He doesn't like the attitude. Now, I do think it's interesting that it seemed like Harbaugh kind of lost interest in the attitude from Lamar Jackson late in the year in Baltimore. But let's just stick here. He likes the attitude of the new quarterback. Doesn't the owner go, well, I do have that big TV they're putting in the end zone. You know who would look good on there celebrating touchdowns? Lamar Jackson. And I did have to look down at empty seats
12
at times
games a
last
year,
year.
he might look good. And that's what he's playing the last 2 years, 12 games a year.
Yeah, is he
and
worth
it's
more
got
than
a lot of appeal
$133 million?
to you if he's out there, and he's also got a lot of appeal until your team is 6-8. Because he's not leading his team annually to the playoffs. Is he worth $133 million a year? I think that's an excellent contract because it's for both sides.
For 3 years, yeah.
Because it's 3 years and it's ideal. It's not 5 years. So to me, that's a great deal for him. But I could see why he still looks at Deshaun Watson and says we need that.